Heartwarming connection revealed. Tears lead to an incredible life-changing romance with a Bill. Mia was known in the small town of Maple Grove for her infectious smile, the kind that warmed the hearts of her patrons at the Bright Star Diner. Every morning, she greeted the regulars with a chirpy, "What'll it be today?" Her laughter floated lightly above the sound of clinking cutlery and sizzling griddles, making the diner feel like a second home. But behind that smile was a heart weighed down by worry. Her mother's illness loomed like a storm cloud over her life, a constant reminder of late-night medications and growing bills as she filled coffee cups and served slices of homemade cherry pie. Mia poured all her love into each interaction, finding solace in her work. The diner was a refuge for many, a place where friendships blossomed and burdens lightened. And then there was Bill, a weathered war veteran whose presence at the diner offered glimpses of resilience. The depth in his stories stirred something in Mia, some kind of hope she desperately needed. "Mia," he'd say, his voice gruff yet tender. "Life's curveballs can knock you down, but it's about getting back up." As he spoke, his eyes twinkled with wisdom that only time and experience could cultivate. It resonated with her. The community center was on the brink of being sold off to corporate interests, and she knew it was not just a building. It was the heart of Maple Grove, a sanctuary for children and families. Fueled by inspiration, Mia gathered the locals, determined to save the center. "We can do this together," she declared, her voice rising above the crowd. Yet, as the plan took shape, not everyone was supportive. Some voices rose above the rest, filled with prejudice and doubt. "What do you know about running something like this, Mia?" they sneered. The hurt stung more than any financial burden as she realized that not everyone viewed her as a pillar of the community. Amidst this chaos, tensions flared at home. Her mother, aching for Mia's attention, grew resentful of her volunteer hours. The routines they cherished started to fray. A rift was formed, and every evening brought with it the weight of unspoken words and frustration. In a moment of despair, Bill shared a secret of his own, a talent for music that had once stitched love into the fabric of his life. "Every note tells a story," he whispered, revealing the depths of his own battles. "Music unites us, Mia." Fueled by their shared vulnerabilities, they hatched a new plan, a concert that would weave their individual pains into a melody of hope. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The performance night arrived with an electric buzz of anticipation crackling in the air. As Mia took the stage, her heart pounded wildly, each beat a reminder of the weight she carried and the hope she clung to. But standing beside Bill, a sense of calm enveloped her. Together they sang, their voices rising like a phoenix against the weight of doubt. The room vibrated with emotion, reflecting the tears of joy and realization that streamed down patrons' faces. But just as the applause swelled, an unexpected incident threatened to unravel everything. Standing on that stage, Mia's heart wavering between love and judgment, she faced an agonizing choice. Would she let the bond they had forged slip away? Would the bitter taste of community prejudice win? Or would hope triumph once more? As the crowd silenced, the tension hung in the air like a promise unfulfilled. Mia stood frozen on stage, the applause fading into a hush as whispered doubts floated through the crowd. Her heart raced, each thud echoing the uncertainty that had arisen in that fleeting moment. The glimmer of hope she shared with Bill was now overshadowed by the disgruntled murmurs rippling through the audience. She felt exposed, vulnerable. Did they see her as she truly was, or just a girl trying to chase an impossible dream? Bill, sensing her distress, turned slightly to her, his eyes steady and reassuring. "Just breathe, Mia. Let them hear our story." His voice was a grounding presence, encouraging her to find her footing again amidst the swirling doubts. With a deep breath, she remembered why they were there. This concert wasn't only about saving the community center. It was about togetherness, the shared experiences that bound them all. Together she spoke softly into the microphone, the word hanging like a lifeline. We've all faced our struggles. I see so many faces in this crowd that inspire me, people who fight every day, just like me. The sincerity in her voice drew the audience closer, their expressions softening as she connected with them. With renewed vigor, she glanced at Bill and launched into the next song. They harmonized beautifully, their voices weaving together stories of resilience and hope. For every note sung, Mia poured her heart into it, feeling the weight of expectations lift just a little. And, with each passing moment, she could sense the crowd shifting, their preconceived notions giving way to understanding as the final notes of their duet resonated through the dimly lit diner. The room erupted in applause once more. Faces lit with smiles, glimmering eyes reflecting the warmth of shared dreams. And for a second, the doubts that had threatened to consume her were overshadowed by the unifying energy of the moment. There, in the heart of Maple Grove, they were not just an audience. They were a community. But the night was not without its shadows. A figure stood at the back, arms crossed, eyes narrowed. It was one of the skeptics who had criticized Mia's initiative. She felt their gaze like a weight pressing against her. Was the bond she felt with the community strong enough to weather another wave of skepticism? Bill nudged her lightly, pulling her from her thoughts. We did good, didn't we? His smile was infectious, brightening up the lingering worries that clouded her mind. Yeah, I hope so, she replied, glancing back at the figure. But what if it wasn't enough? Then we'll keep pushing, he said, his tone unwavering. Together, we can turn these doubts into our melody, too. The concert didn't just mark a moment. It ignited a spark. Mia knew change had begun. But as she left the stage, a bittersweet tang lingered in her mouth. There were still battles to fight, hearts to win over. That skeptic loomed large in her mind, a reminder that not everyone was on board. The after-party felt like the calm after a storm, laughter and chatter blending into a hopeful chorus. Mia spotted her mother at the back, hesitant but clapping with pride. Emotions bubbled up as she dashed over, yearning to close the gap created by resentment. The road would be long, but maybe they could find their harmony again. Just then, the door swung open with a clatter, and in walked the familiar figure from the back of the crowd. A mixture of anxiety and anticipation coursed through Mia. What would they say? Would they extend an olive branch or build a wall even higher? The din of the party faded, replaced by an electric silence, as she braced herself. The next chapter of their journey awaited. What words would be exchanged that night? Mia's heart pounded in her chest as the figure approached. The room felt suspended in time, laughter and chatter fading into whispers, leaving only the sound of her breath. As the crowd shifted, she could see the skeptic better now. The lines etched on their face spoke of struggle, fire, and an unwavering belief that held firm against doubt. Can we talk? The figure asked, their voice guarded. Mia's throat tightened. Felt like an interrogation but also a chance. She nodded, the slightest flicker of hope igniting within her. Together, they stepped aside, leaving the party's warmth behind for a cooler corner of the diner. What's your name? Mia asked, trying to ease the tension. Evan, they replied, crossing their arms tighter. Look, I'm not here to fight. I wanted to hear your side. Mia's chest swelled with a mix of relief and uncertainty. What if there was more to Evan than she initially thought? I'm trying to save the community center, she said softly. It means a lot to me, but it also means a lot to this town. I believe we can make it work together. Evan hesitated, eyes narrowing as if measuring her sincerity. You really think you can change things? I know I can, Mia said, her voice rising slightly with conviction. But it takes all of us. I'm not asking for blind support. I'm asking for a chance to show you what we can do. We've all got dreams, and I want to turn the center into a home for those dreams. Can we at least try? Evan's brow furrowed, and Mia could see them wrestling with their beliefs. The vulnerability in that moment transcended the facade they had built. I've been skeptical because I just wasn't sure if you understood what you're up against. You may have the best intentions, but this town has been through things that break people. I can't fix everything alone. Mia interrupted gently. But I want to listen, to learn. Every story matters, including yours. She stepped a little closer, her hands outstretched in a gesture of openness. What's your story, Evan? The skepticism in their eyes dimmed momentarily, replaced by a flicker of something softer, a hint of yearning. I used to play music, Evan confessed, their voice a mere whisper. But after everything, I thought I lost my place here. Mia felt their words like a pebble dropping into a pond, sending ripples through her own heart. You haven't lost it. You're still part of this community. There's a place for you, for everyone. Let us find it together. Evan looked at her, some walls crumbling away. You're different. That is not a bad thing, is it? No, it might be just what we need. They shared a moment of silence, the potential of something blossoming between them. The weight of doubt shifted into a space where understanding could flourish. Mia didn't know what might happen next but felt an undeniable connection. Just as the promise of something new sparked between them, the party doors swung open again. A figure burst in, breathless Bill, eyes wide with concern. Mia, there's something we need to discuss. It's important. Mia felt her heart sink. What could possibly be more urgent now, when hope was finally within reach? She shot Evan a look, unsure whether to hold on to this moment or let it slip away. Would they be able to build on this connection? Or would life's unexpected interruptions pull them apart again? As the party swelled back into noise, Mia's mind raced. What had just begun could lead to something life-altering. But first, she needed to hear what Bill had to say. Together they stood on the threshold of potential, but what awaited Mia on the other side? Mia's mind was a whirlwind, the warmth of her budding connection with Evan quickly overshadowed by Bill's urgent presence. She took a deep breath, focusing on what was truly important. Bill, she said, her voice steady but laced with concern. What's wrong? Bill took a moment to collect himself, running a hand through his messy hair. It's about the community center. There's a new proposal going through, and if we don't act fast, they'll start demolishing it next week. The words felt like a punch to her gut. Panic flooded her system. What? No, she gasped, glancing back at Evan, who now looked uneasy. We don't have time to lose. Do you know who's behind this? Bill nodded, eyes narrowed with frustration. It's the developers again. They want to convert the whole area into a shopping complex, all this for more profit. Something twisted in Mia's chest at the thought of the center being destroyed, a place that had meant so much to her and countless others. We can't let that happen. We just can't. As adrenaline raced through her veins, she realized she had to rally support, not just within herself but from the entire community, including Evan. What do we do? She asked, spinning back to Bill. We need a plan right now. Bill opened his mouth to respond, but Evan stepped forward, breaking into the conversation. I can help, they said with a spark of determination that surprised Mia. I know some musicians who'd be willing to perform. Maybe a benefit concert? We can get the community involved, rally their support. The idea tossed a glimmer of hope into the air. Mia's heart raced again, but this time for a completely different reason. That's brilliant, she exclaimed. If we can show the community's passion, if we can prove that the center matters, it might just sway the decision. Evan nodded, a fire igniting in their eyes. Let us do it then. We'll need to act fast. I can reach out to some people and get this going. Mia felt a surge of pride and gratitude wash over her. Thank you, Evan. I knew you could see it. You're part of this too. The words hung in the air, resonating between them. Just then, laughter burst through the diner doors as a group of partygoers wandered back outside, and the energy shifted. Mia felt the excitement of the moment blending with urgency. Bill, can you help us organize this? We'll need a venue, promotion, everything. Of course. Bill's face showed a renewed resolve. I'll get the wheels moving on my end. Great. Mia's expression softened as she turned back to Evan, their eyes locking for a long moment. She saw a flicker of something deeper than their initial connection, a shared purpose. We can really do this. We can. Evan agreed, their voice filled with purpose and something more intimate. But just as they were lost in each other's gaze, a loud crash echoed from the direction of the kitchen. The doors swung open, revealing the diner's cook, a pan slipping from his hands, which sent grease splattering everywhere. Laughter erupted from the patrons, breaking the seriousness of the moment. Mia couldn't help but chuckle. In the chaos, she felt the strain ease just a bit, a reminder of the community they were fighting for. Laughter, music, connection, these were the foundations they needed to strengthen. "Let us make this happen," she said, her determination renewed, glancing back at the vibrant crowd. Evan smiled, their expression warm with possibility. "I'm in. But are you ready for the challenges ahead?" Mia took a deep breath, grounding herself in the reality to come. But underneath the concerns and fears, something blossomed within her, a feeling of hope, of belonging. As they began to plot out their strategy, she realized, perhaps it was not just about saving the center. It was about forming bonds that could change everything. Mia pushed against doubt, believing deeply that this was the beginning of something extraordinary. What other secrets did this community hold? What would they uncover in their fight for the heart of their town? Evan touched her arm gently, snapping her back to the moment. "We'll need to gather as many voices as possible," they said, determination sparking in their tone. "Then let us find them," Mia replied, feeling an electrifying pull between them once more. In that swirling mix of emotions and plans, she realized that this fight was just beginning, and so was their connection. Would it be enough to overcome what lay ahead? Or would the forces threatening to tear their community apart succeed? Mia felt the weight of everything pressing down, her heart racing with both excitement and trepidation. "Let us start with the local musicians. If we can get a few big names, word will spread fast," she suggested, her voice bubbling with enthusiasm. Evan nodded, their eyes lighting up with each idea. "I'll reach out to Sam and the band down at the pub. They've got a following and they love playing for a good cause." Bill scratched his chin thoughtfully. "I can hit up some of the local businesses too. If they can sponsor the event, it'll help cover costs and get them on board. Everybody loves this center. They'll want to help keep it alive." Mia could feel the momentum building, each suggestion an essential stitch in the fabric of their plan. They all gathered closer, brainstorming ideas as laughter and chatter from the diner surrounded them like a warm embrace. But somewhere in the back of her mind, worry loomed. Could they really pull it off in such little time? Suddenly, Mia's phone buzzed violently in her pocket, snapping her out of the moment. It was her mom. With a quick glance at Evan and Bill, she answered it. "Hey, Mom," a muffled voice came through, panic lacing the words. "Mia, you need to come home. Your father is having some issues with the landlord." It sounds serious. Her heart sank. The world was collapsing again. "What kind of issues? Can't we handle this later?" "No, honey. They want to evict us if the rent isn't paid. You know we've been struggling." Tears pricked at her eyes, but she fought them back. "I'm on my way." She hung up and turned to Bill and Evan, feeling a hollow pit in her stomach. "I can't. I have to go home. There's something with my dad." Evan stepped closer, brows furrowed. "Do you want us to come with you?" "No." The word slipped out sharper than she intended. It's family stuff." Bill's head bobbed in understanding, though the disappointment lingered in the air between them. "Okay, just keep us updated. We'll keep working on setting up everything for the concert." Mia smiled weakly, though it felt more like a grimace. I'll do my best." She turned to leave, heart heavy with the weight of her family's struggles mixed with her growing connection to Evan and the fight for the community center. As she stepped out of the diner, the sun hit her face warm and bright, yet it couldn't chase the shadow of concern that followed her home. Each step felt like she was battling the world, her father, the developers, her own doubts. Yet, amid her worries, she could still feel the faintest flicker of connection she had with Evan, reminding her that she wasn't alone in this fight. She could muster the courage to face her fears. When she arrived home, she entered the small apartment where memories of laughter had turned quiet. Her mom was already there, pacing anxiously. "Did you get any more jobs?" Not yet, Mia rushed to answer, but I might know a few people who can help. People? Her mom asked, glancing toward the door. You mean friends? Mia hesitated. Evan and Bill felt like more than just friends. They were allies in this struggle. Yeah. I guess the conversation spiraled into an emotional pitfall, filled with anxiety over bills, looming deadlines, and uncertainty about the future. Yet, through it all, Mia felt the pull of her prior conversations echoing in her heart. Later that evening, as she sat at the kitchen table with her mom, the weight of expectation thundered in her ears. We have to fight for our home, she said strongly, surprising even herself. And just then, her phone buzzed again. A message from Evan. We're in this together. We'll make it happen. Her heart swelled, but the looming challenge still haunted her. Could she balance her home life, this community fight, and her feelings? With determination strengthening within her, she replied, We'll figure this out. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, leaving shadows creeping across their small living room, Mia couldn't shake the question that filled her mind. Would the community rally around the center, or would everything she was working for slip through her fingers? Before she had time to dwell on it, there was a knock at the door. Her heart raced again. Who could it be? As she opened the door, the silhouette of a figure stood against the fading light. It was a face she didn't expect to see. Mia, the voice trembled slightly. We need to talk. It's important. Mia's heart skipped a beat as she squinted into the fading light, trying to make sense of the figure standing on her doorstep. It was her neighbor, Mrs. Jenkins, an elderly woman whose kind eyes were now brimming with something Mia couldn't quite place concern. Maybe? Mia, dear Mrs. Jenkins said, her voice soft and shaky. I heard about your father. I came to see if you and your family are okay. Mia stepped aside, ushering her inside. We're managing. Thanks for checking in. Mrs. Jenkins sank into a chair at the tiny kitchen table, folding her hands in her lap. The weight of countless years seemed to rest upon her fragile shoulders. Yet her spirit was as vibrant as ever. Managing isn't always enough, she said gently. You need support. Have you thought about talking to the community? There are people who care for you. Mia's breath caught in her throat. She thought of the fight for the community center, the heartwarming ideas they shared just hours ago. I know we need help, but what, dear? Mrs. Jenkins pressed, her eyes fierce with conviction. You can't shoulder this burden alone. You have to let others in. Mia clenched her fists on the table. I feel like I'm balancing 1,000 things right now, the center's concert, my data struggle, and my own doubts. It's like I'm standing on a tightrope. Mrs. Jenkins reached out, placing a weathered hand on Mia's. Sometimes we need to fall to really see what we're made of. If you're afraid to ask for help, then your tightrope will become a noose. You deserve people fighting beside you. The warmth of Mrs. Jenkins' hand soothed Mia's frayed nerves. She could almost feel the sense of solidarity forming, the connections pulling together like strands of a well-worn fabric. It was comforting, especially as doubt whispered unnerving thoughts in her ear. You're right, Mia admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. I can't do this alone. As they talked, memories spilled into the air of the time Mrs. Jenkins had baked cookies for Mia when she was too sick to leave her room, or when they had laughed about old movies on Friday nights together. It had been years since laughter filled their homes, yet now it felt like the walls were closing in once again. Just then, Mia's phone vibrated again, breaking the intense moment. It was another message from Evan. Mia, I hope you're okay. Remember, we're here for you. Whatever you need. Her heart warmed at the thought of Evan. How easily he slipped into her mind like a comforting blanket in a storm. But as quickly as that thought came, a wave of uncertainty crashed over her. Would he still feel the same once the dust settled? Mrs. Jenkins broke through her thoughts. What's that, dear? Mia shook her head slightly, caught between her worries and the comfort of hope that Mrs. Jenkins brought. Just a friend offering support. A thought struck her. I could gather the neighbors. If they knew what was happening with the center and my family, maybe they'd want to help. Mrs. Jenkins' eyes sparkled with pride. That's the spirit. See what you can create when you let people in? Mia took a deep breath, allowing the idea to take root deep within her. Yes. But I'll need your help too, Mrs. Jenkins. Anything for you, dear, she said with a smile that warmed the room. Just as Mia felt a flicker of hope ignite, the door creaked open without warning, and her mom appeared in the doorway, her expression almost ghostly. Mia, I just heard from your dad, she whispered, voice trembling. The room thickened with worry. Mia felt her chest tighten again. What now? Her mom's next words hung heavy in the air like a storm cloud about to break. He's made a decision, and you need to come home right now. Every instinct in Mia screamed to resist, to challenge her mom's command. But for the first time, she wondered what else this decision could hold. Would it be the end of everything she was fighting for, or the beginning of something unexpected? What did her dad mean? The uncertainty loomed like a shadow as Mia stepped forward, not just for her family but for the community that had started to feel like home. Suddenly, everything she had fought for felt interwoven with the very essence of her identity. As she looked from Mrs. Jenkins back to her mother, a fire lit within her. I'm coming, but we need to talk together first. And with those words, Mia knew this was only the beginning of a fight that would unite many, perhaps even change everything she believed about family, community, and love. But was she ready to embrace whatever came next? Mia drew in a sharp breath as she stared at her mother, uncertainty swirling in her gut. The room felt charged, heavy with unspoken words that lingered in the air like smoke after a fire. What decision? She pressed, her voice steady despite the quaking in her heart. Her mother's eyes darted away, scanning the wall as if seeking answers written in the paint. He's leaving the hospital, she finally said, her voice barely a whisper, thick with emotion. He wants to come home. A wave of confusion washed over Mia. Home. Was that the answer? Or merely a shifting of the problem? But Mom, he's not well enough yet. He needs care, I know what he needs. Her mother snapped, the rawness in her voice silencing Mia. He needs to be with us. He wants to fight this. He wants to be strong for us. Mia's heart twisted painfully. She understood all too well. But could strength alone fight against the shadows lurking in the corners of their lives? What about the concert? What about everything? I can't just drop it all, can I? Mrs. Jenkins gently interrupted, her voice laced with wisdom. Mia, dear, families and communities are like gardens. Sometimes you need to prune back the old to make way for new growth. Mia felt a tug at her heartstrings. If she put so much focus on the community center concert, would she neglect her own family's need for support? I feel like I'm being pulled apart, she confessed, her breath hitching. If I take care of Dad, then the center, I don't know if it can survive without me. But if I focus on the center, what happens to Dad? Mia, it's okay to be scared, Mrs. Jenkins reassured her softly. This is a moment of decision for all of you. You don't have to figure it out alone. The community can help, and so can your mom. Her mother's expression softened, a hint of vulnerability breaking through her stoic facade. I can't do this without you, Mia. This is hard for me, too. The warmth of Mrs. Jenkins' presence filled the room, and their shared glances bridged a growing connection. A silent agreement sparked between them. They were in this together. Mia's phone buzzed again, but this time she didn't even look at it. Her mind was racing with directions. What if we hold an emergency meeting? She suggested. We can gather everyone, neighbors, friends, even the musicians from the concert planning. They need to understand what's happening. They can offer their help. Yes. Mrs. Jenkins beamed, her spirit lifting the room. In times of crisis, people come together. That's how we heal. Mia watched her mother's hardened expression soften slightly. Maybe there was a way to balance both worlds, the family she loved and the community she relied on. As she stood there brainstorming, the tension in the room gradually started to dissolve. It felt good to be proactive. Could their combined efforts truly offer a lifeline to them all? Mia reached for her phone, excitement bubbling up within her. I'll text Evan, she said, more to herself than to the others. He can help spread the word. Just as she began to type, the front door creaked open again. Mia glanced up, feeling the familiar chill of dread wash over her. Someone else was entering, Their shadow loomed, filling the doorway. "Is everything all right?" Evan's voice cut through, a beacon amidst the growing darkness. He stepped in, his presence solid and reassuring, like a lighthouse in a storm. Mia's heart raced. "Evan, I might need your help more than I thought." The way he looked at her, concern painted across his face, made her pulse quicken. She could sense his willingness to stand by her side. But would it be enough? As she felt the weight of everything pressing down, Mia's mind flickered with thoughts of how to turn this moment into something powerful. Would they rise together, or crumble under the weight of it all? Could she embrace the uncertainty that came next? Mia took a moment to steady her breath, her heart pounding loudly in her ears as she regarded Evan. His eyes, usually so lively, were filled with a mix of concern and compassion that wrapped around her like a warm blanket, urging her forward. "We're planning an emergency meeting," she spoke, forcing herself to present a brave face. "To gather everyone, talk about Dad, and get the community involved. I could really use your help." Evan took a step closer, his brow slightly furrowed. "I'm all in," he promised, his voice low and sincere. "Anything you need." Mia felt a swell of gratitude, and for that fleeting moment, the weight pressing down felt a little lighter. "Thank you," she replied, her eyes locking onto his. She could see the determination there, igniting a flicker of hope within her. "Let us do this together." The certainty in Evan's voice infused Mia with energy. She quickly began mapping out a plan, jotting down the most important people they needed to contact first. As she listed names, a sense of urgency fueled her thoughts, intertwining with the worry for her father's well-being. With Evan at her side, they formed a team, a shield of determination against the uncertain future. As if drawing strength from one another, their movements became more dynamic, the air crackling with new possibilities. Each person they decided to call felt like a thread weaving their lives together. "Do you think everyone will come?" she asked, a twinge of doubt creeping back in. "Of course," Evan replied, leaning casually against the kitchen counter, his eyes sparkling with confidence. "This community cares for each other. They understand how important this is." Mia allowed his faith to wash over her. It was true. Their neighborhood had always rallied in tough times. Each face that came to mind, each story shared and connection forged made her feel a little less alone. As the two of them strategized, her phone buzzed again. This time, the notifications drew her attention. It was a message from one of the musicians they'd been coordinating for the concert planning. "Wishing your family strength. Count me in for anything." A few more messages flowed in, echoing the same sentiment. A warmth spread through her chest, a flicker of relief glimmering amidst the shadows. "Mia," her mother called from the living room, breaking the momentary bliss. The urgency in her tone made both Mia and Evan glance at each other, concern flickering across their faces. "Yeah," Mia called back, before walking toward the source of the urgency. Her mother stood by the front door, staring outside. "It's your father." Here her voice trailed off, a mix of dread and hope etched on her features. Mia's heart dropped. Was he ready? Was this the right time? Her stomach knotted with questions, uncertainty creeping back in as she moved closer to the door. She glanced at Evan, who stood tall beside her, ready to face whatever came next. The moment they stepped outside, everything seemed to sharpen into focus. The sun was setting, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, almost as if the world was holding its breath in anticipation. Her father's frail figure emerged from the car, and every bit of confidence Mia had built began to wane. He looked small and vulnerable, but there was also a fire in his eyes, a stubbornness she recognized as he approached them slowly. Mia felt a whirlwind of emotions tumble within her. Could she really balance the storm brewing at home with the needs of the community? "Mia, just be there for him," Evan whispered, squeezing her shoulder gently, grounding her in the moment. She took a deep breath and nodded, stepping forward to embrace her father. But with Evan watching, her heart raced in a different way. This journey was about to take unexpected turns, and she could feel it. As her father wrapped his arms around her, Mia was left wondering not just about the fight ahead, but about the connections and emotions growing around her. Could they truly overcome this together? And what new changes awaited them on the horizon? As Mia hugged her father tightly, the world around her seemed to fade. His frail frame felt fragile in her arms, but that familiar scent like old wood and leather brought back countless memories of warmth and security. She pulled back just enough to look into his eyes, searching for the spark she hoped was still there. "Hey, Dad," she said softly, her voice trembling. "We've missed you." A flicker of a smile broke across his face, and for a moment, it seemed he was back to the man she had known, confident, full of life. But as he released her and stepped back, the weariness etched in his features brought her crashing back to reality. The weight of the world rested heavily on her shoulders. "Mia, sweetheart," he began, his voice hoarse. He cleared his throat, attempting to steady himself. "I'm sorry I worried you." For the briefest instant, Mia felt a pang of frustration. How could he undermine the severity of his situation? But then she caught the glint in Evan's eyes, his quiet reassurance wrapped around her like a shield. "It's okay, Dad. Really. We're all here for you now," she replied, forcing a smile. She could feel Evan's presence behind her, the constant support anchoring her in that dizzying moment. Her father glanced over at Evan, then back to Mia. "I heard you're putting together a meeting. Is that right?" "Yes," she said, excitement bubbling softly in her chest. "We want to get everyone together to talk about everything. You're not alone in this, Dad. We're all part of it." His shoulders sagged under the weight of her words, and she could see the internal struggle waging a war in his mind. Would he let them in? Would he trust the community to step forward? "I can't ask them to take on my burdens," he murmured, his gaze shifting to the ground. "But that's the thing," Mia insisted, the urgency rising in her voice. "You don't have to bear it alone. You've given so much to others. Let them give back." He raised his eyes to meet hers, and Mia felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. "I just don't want to be a burden," he replied, vulnerability cracking through his voice. "You could never be a burden, Dad," she said with conviction, taking a step closer. "Let them support you. Let me support you." Evan watched the exchange closely, stepping forward. "Mr. Larson, you've built this community. You're the heart of it. They want to show up for you." Mia's father studied Evan for a moment, then finally nodded, acceptance washing over his features. "All right, I trust you both." Relief washed over Mia as she felt the tension leave the air. They spent the next few minutes discussing how to approach the meeting, discussing how to convey the situation to the community. The conversation flowed more easily than she had imagined. The shadows of uncertainty began to clear, and laughter broke through the heaviness that had lingered for so long. "All right," her father finally said, a newfound determination lighting his eyes. "Let us do this together." As the three of them stood in the dwindling light of the evening, a palpable shift occurred. Mia was reminded that even in darkness, there could be light, the bonds they shared strengthening with each passing moment, each sentimental word exchanged. But just as she felt buoyed by the possibilities, her phone buzzed in her pocket. Pulling it out, her heart dropped. I think we might need to rethink the meeting," she said, the color draining from her face. Evan leaned in, a worried expression taking form. "What is it?" "It's from the community center," she replied, dread settling in. "They've just confirmed there's a conflicting event scheduled on the same night." Panic surged within her. Could everything fall apart again before it even began? The future she was trying to build felt untethered, and Mia was left grappling with the fear of the unknown. Would they be able to protect her father and bring everyone together after all? And as unsettling thoughts swirled in her mind, she realized that this journey was far from over. The hardest battles were yet to come, and Mia feared it would take more than community to conquer them. What other obstacles awaited them, and could their fragile bonds withstand the growing storm? Mia's heart sank at the news from the community center. She stood there, her phone buzzing in the silence, feeling the weight of the world pressing down on her once again. The realization that everything they had worked for could come crashing down before it even got started left her breathless. She looked up at her father and Evan, their faces a mix of concern and determination, and knew this was not the end. Okay, breathe, Mia, she said, trying to steady herself. We'll figure this out. Her father, deep lines of worry etched on his forehead, put a hand on her shoulder. What does this mean? Is it too late? No, Mia said forcefully, her mind racing. We can adapt. Let us call a meeting now, get the word out. We have to show them that this means more than just a single night. The fire inside her reignited, sparking her spirit as she considered the possibilities. Evan's eyes lit up, a plan forming. What if we invite everyone to bring their concerns, their ideas, even if it's not all about the center? Let us turn the meeting into something bigger. Yes, Mia exclaimed, the excitement flooding back. We'll gather our thoughts, show them why this matters, why we matter. They began brainstorming, her father offering ideas amidst his struggles, rekindling the spirit that Mia had often believed was sleeping inside him. He remembered the times he had fought for the community center, the very place that had nourished them through life's challenges. In that moment, they became a family united with a purpose, the familiar bond strengthening with every word spoken. The shadows of uncertainty that had loomed over her now began to lift, replaced by the light of hope. As they put plans into action, Mia realized how intertwined their fates were with the community they cherished. Let us spread the word using flyers, social media, anything we can, she suggested. We want them to see how together we can really make an impact. Evan nodded, eyes bright with determination. And we can bring live music into it. A few unplugged sessions might set the mood. Her father smiled, a real smile that transformed his tired face. Bring them together not just for us, but for each other. We can create a night that will live on in every heart. Mia felt the tears stinging her eyes, this time from joy. Every shared breath, every moment of growing pain had brought them to this. And somehow the gathering felt like a new beginning. Even as the shadows of doubt crept in, she pushed them aside. They got to work immediately, reaching out and inviting neighbors, friends, old acquaintances, and even some skeptics. They reminded everyone of the joys, struggles, and histories they shared in Maple Grove. The night of the meeting arrived, and the diner was abuzz with energy. Mia could feel the air crackling, filled with anticipation. Families and friends streamed in, carrying their stories in their hearts. It was more than a meeting. It was a reunion, a moment where wounds could heal. As she stood up to speak, Mia felt a weight lift. The faces before her, some familiar, some not, transformed into a tapestry of trust and unity. Thank you all for being here tonight, she said, her voice steady but emotional. We're gathered here, not just to save a building, but to affirm that we deserve to thrive together as a community. One by one, voices began to rise. Maureen, a nurturing figure in the community, spoke about her memories in the center. Even Evan's neighbor, who had originally doubted Mia, stood up to support her cause, sharing their own childhood connection with the space. Tears flowed freely in that crowded diner, laughter mixing with heartfelt stories. Through shared pain, hopes connected, building bridges Mia didn't know could exist. And as her father put his arm around her, she realized the community would stand by them together, unyielding. The meeting that began with uncertainty turned into a powerful declaration. Yes, they were fighting for the center, but even more, they were united as family in their struggles, their joys, their dreams. They organized concerts, open mics, and community gatherings, reaching out to local businesses for support. Slowly but surely, they ignited a fire that spread through Maple Grove, rekindling joy, resilience, and heart in everyone involved. As the concert finally took place weeks later, the diner transformed into a stage where dreams and struggles harmonized. Mia stood alongside Evan, laughter bubbling up amidst the applause, her heart bursting with pride. In that moment, she understood they had made it not just for the center but for life itself. Together they had overcome fear and doubt, transforming the storm clouds into bright, hopeful skies. Mia glanced at her father, who was singing along with the crowd. She felt tears of joy streaming down her cheeks. They had emerged stronger, wiser. In the heart of Maple Grove, they weren't just a community. they were family. And in that beautiful moment, Mia understood every struggle had led to this splendid transformation. A light that would guide them through anything life threw their way. Before the lights dimmed and the last song resonated, a sudden sense of urgency prickled inside Mia. If this journey of love and connection had taught her anything, it was how crucial it is to support and uplift one another. So, to the readers still with me, this is the moment to stand with your community. You need to subscribe now. Don't wait not even one more second to share your thoughts and emotions with us in the comments below. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Trust me, every click helps us reach more hearts and ears just like yours. And please, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. Show your support for stories that matter. Let your voice be heard.